place, Italy. In the mid 18th century, this man observed that just 20% of his garden's tea plants were responsible for producing 80% of healthy pods. This led him to ponder over the nature of unequal distribution. His curiosity extended to the distribution of wealth, where he uncovered that a small segment of population, 20%, held a control over 80% of Italy's land. Further research in various industries revealed a similar trend. Majority of the production, about 80%, was often the output of just 20% of companies. This led to the formulation of a principle that suggested a majority of outcomes, or 80%, typically arise from a smaller portion of efforts, approximately 20%. The man was Vilfredo Federico Damaso Pareto, and his realization, later known as Pareto Principle or 80-20 rule. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mastering Mental Models. I'm your host Saurabh, and in today's episode, we will uncover our first mental model called the Pareto Principle. The Pareto Principle, aka 80-20 rule, is a principle that suggests that in many situations, approximately 80% of the effects come from 20% of the causes. This principle was developed by Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto, initially observed in the context of wealth distribution. The Pareto principle has since been applied to wide range of fields and scenarios, suggesting that a relatively small number of factors often contribute to a major portion of an outcome. In business, for example, it's often observed that 18% of sales come from 20% of customers, or 80% of complaints come from 20% of clients. In productivity and time management, it might be found that 20% of one's activity contribute to 80% of results. So, how to apply Pareto Principle in your life? Applying Pareto Principle or the 80-20 rule in life involves identifying areas where a relatively small amount of effort can lead to a large portion of the desired results. This approach can be used to enhance productivity, decision making, and overall efficiency in various aspects of life. Here are a couple of scenarios illustrating its applications. So let's take personal productivity and time management. Suppose you have a list of tasks or goals, personal or professional, that you want to accomplish. Application: first, analyze which of these tasks yield the most significant results. You might find that only a few tasks, say 20% of the list, contribute to the 80% of your most valuable outcomes, such as career advancement, personal growth, or happiness. Focus on these high-impact tasks and prioritize them. For instance, if you are a writer, you might find that certain types of writing or particular projects generate most of your income or satisfaction. By focusing more on these tasks, you can increase your overall productivity and success. Now, let's apply the same Pareto principle on financial management. Consider your personal finances, including income sources and expenses. So how to apply? Analyze where most of your income comes from. Often, people find that a significant portion of their income, say 80%, comes from a few key sources, say 20%. Focus on nurturing and expanding these sources. Similarly, look at your expenses. You might discover a large portion of your expenses, say 80%, come from a few categories, say 20%. By identifying and managing these key expense areas, you can significantly improve your financial health. With that, we conclude Pareto Principle and today's episode. I'm sure with this newfound knowledge in your armory, you'll be better at recognizing the potential imbalance between inputs and outputs, efforts and results, and the impact of focusing on the most productive or significant areas for maximum efficiency and effectiveness. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated on our journey through mental models. Thank you for watching and see you in our next episode where we will dive into another intriguing mental model. Until then, this is Saurabh signing off. Keep thinking and stay curious.